on this episode of Posted Up with Chris Haynes, this right here, man, AllStar, Bradley Beal, the Washington Wizards, man. Brad, thanks for coming on, man.
Chris, my man.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I'm surprised. The last time I talked to you, this was AllStar Weekend. AllStar Weekend in, what was it last year?
Charlotte.
Okay, Charlotte. I'm surprised you are where you are right now. I'm pretty sure most people would probably say the same thing. You heard that before. What I mean by that, I thought you'd probably be on another team by now. Walk me by your decision process of going through the summer. You had that, big extension on the table.
Well, for one, I was taking my time. Like, I had all the way till, October to make a decision. So I wasn't making any one that was going to be rash or illogical, or emotional. Because this summer was very kind of rocky. Like, we didn't have a GM.
Yeah.
We didn't have a GM till, July, August. And then by that time, we were trying to figure out what direction we're going in. We got new management. We got a lot more people in the front office, added few more coaches, some player development guys. So it was like we were taking the right steps and building up the whole organization as a whole. So it was like, okay, you got to kind of think big picture. Everybody kind of thinks for the right now, 100%. Yeah, you do. But you also want to think big picture. And, where am I going to be 4 or 5 years from now? How good can we be 4 or 5 years from now? So when I went into signing, the money's great, but you can get paid anywhere. Like we were just talking about, your first one is the one that you want to secure right off the bat. But after that, you pretty much, especially in today's players league, guys are going to do what they want to do, go where they want to go. For me, I feel like that was kind of the easy way out. Like I'm a little bit with Dame on this, because I even talked to him a little bit over the summer. And kind of just gauge where he was. I talked to Ray Allen. I talked to a bunch of guys who've kind of been in this same predicament of, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to build up what you have or jump ship and see what you can do somewhere else? And when I was evaluating that, it's like the grass ain't always greener on the other side. We always know that. It's only one team that wins the championship. So think about it as, okay, if I go to another team, there's no promise I'll win.
True.
We'll probably win more regular season games, but am I going to get to the finals? Am I going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals? Am I going to win a championship? Like, those are what my goals and desires are. And I know, for one, it'll feel more meaningful and powerful knowing that I've grinded it out, doing it in D.C., than kind of jumping ship and being a hell of a dominant team, which, wouldn't be a problem. But it's also not always kosher. It's not always kosher. It won't. There's no guarantee it'll go the way I wanted it to. So I know that over here I'm in more control. It's pretty much my team. I'm the franchise here. So it was kind of destined for me to kind of mold it from here.
Yeah, so I want to get to that, where you are right now in your career and where you are with your team. The reference you made about getting that first bag, we were talking off camera about, just players securing that first big extension. Rarely do players, I can't think of off the top of my head, a player passing up on his first big extension.
Right.
You get that, then you can kind of call your shots from there. But you brought up Damian Lillard, and he's somebody who sometimes takes criticism for being too loyal, and he talks about it. I've been in this place for all my career, and I love it here. I've established things here. Right. I want to build here. And I remember I was talking to you. We'll text back and forth, and I was just trying to see where your head was at. First of all, you had another baby.
Right.
This was September. Was it September? Congratulations on that. How's the family doing?
2 under 2 is killing me.
Oh man, 2 under 2. Terrible twos.
Yes, sir.
You got times. Whoa. I feel for you.
Yeah. No sleep.
I know about that.
Sleep is nice.
Man, I know about that, Brad. No, so congratulations on that, man. But I remember when I was just getting a feel for what type of player you are and your values, I kind of got that, sense that, it came to me similar to Dame as far as staying and building here. And did you really consider over your time processing everything, processing all of your options? Did you really look? Because one team that kept coming up all the time was the Lakers. Lakers. Did you really consider, looking at other teams?
I considered everything on the table. You know, I have to. I have to be selfish in myself and in my career. And trust me, like every team in the league was probably knocking on our door. My GM told us that. Like he literally said, every day I have a call from somebody trying to get you, and it's like that's a good feeling to have, and it's also kind of scary at the same time. Like,
Why is that?
because it's like, damn, it's like everybody wants you. So, you know, you're a hot commodity, and it's always like, okay, well, did I make the right choice? And so for me, it's I never want to be that guy who you know goes back and be like, well, damn, I didn't make the right choice. Well, so for me, I think out everything thoroughly, research, do every single thing possible. It's like when I buy a car. Like if I buy a car, I'm gonna look up that car, research it for the whole summer before I buy it the following summer.
Wow, a whole year in advance.
Yes. So that's kind of how I did the team. So the past couple of years, it's been the same thing. I knew my extension would come up eventually, and it just came down to a decision. Okay, well, what's important to you? You know, loyalty is important to you. You know, building around myself is important. If I go somewhere else, it's not built around me.
Yeah.
I'm a piece versus being the piece and building around you. So that was kind of my mindset. And then when Shep and Ted and Coach kind of all put it all in front of me, like that lured me, you know, to be able to have your own team. You know, that you're not granted that type of power, you know, and you don't get it often, especially in this league. You know, owners don't grant that to players a lot, you know, and I have an unbelievable relationship with our owner as well. So, you know, it was, you know, he was kind of just throwing me the keys in a way, and it was a blessing. You know, it's definitely challenging. It's challenging as hell, but, you know, at the same time, it's a decision that I made, and it wasn't based off it wasn't based off emotion. I thought it out all the way pretty much to the deadline.
Wow. You're somebody who you didn't have the keys given to you day one.
Right.
You know, you had to work into this.
Yep.
And there was times I didn't know. Well, I won't say I didn't know, but I can say that. Yeah,
can say that. Yeah,
no, I
right.
can say I didn't know if you were a 1A talent in the league, like could lead. And then last year you were just putting up numbers, man. Like I was like, damn. Like it's one thing to put up numbers when you have other pieces around you where they can't really just focus on you.
Yeah.
But you've been doing this for now a year and some change now. Like, so did you always know that you had that in you? So you did, huh?
Yeah.
So it
was just a matter of time. Like, we had really good teams like my first couple years in the league. Like, but our teams were really based on your role and what your role was. And so being a young guy into the league, like we had John, who's 5-time AllStar. We had Nene, Gortat, Trevor Ariza. We had all type of dudes here. So we had legit vets, like vets who can go out there and get it. So a lot of the stress and heinous wasn't just on my shoulders. Like we can throw the ball in the post and get a bucket on the inside. And go to that 5 times in a row. We can have John run a high pick and roll. You have me coming off pin downs, catching shoots. So it was just a matter of time for my game to just develop and evolve, and eventually I got more freedom and more opportunity to be able to handle the ball alongside John, and my game just took off. But I was always confident in myself of being able to do it. It was just, I guess I'm kind of a late bloomer.
Late bloomer or just getting an opportunity?
Or getting an opportunity.
Yeah, getting an opportunity. So you brought up John Wall, who's, you know, nursing his way back. Where does John fit in the equation once he comes back, if it's end of this season or next season? How does that?
It's crazy because he looks great right now. Like, we just got done with practice, and he's dunking the ball. He's running fast. He's crossing dudes. Like, he back. He pretty much back. So, you know, our thing is just making sure that he takes his time and he's 110% before he come back out here. And I think next year will be the most logical. You know, just make sure you take all the time in the world that you need and make sure you come back full go next year. And he's going to be on a mission. You know, we know John. Like, we know how he is. We know, you know, his motives and where his heart is and how he operates. He wants to win, you know, and he also wants to prove people, you know, that he's elite. And he's always going to have that chip on his shoulder. And that's how it's going to be. You know, we're definitely missing him. Like, I feel like he's a piece that we miss. His pace, his speed, his size. Like, that's all, you know, all intangibles we miss for sure. And I think next year will be good for us. We got a young team, so we're building up Rui, we're building up Thomas Bryant, Troy, all of our young guys. And so when he comes back, hopefully we could just plug and play and just take off.
I had John on the show probably 6 months ago, and he talked to me about like how you and him just coming up. You guys are young, hungry guys, and at times, there was conflict. He said, but he wanted to win, you wanted to win. That's all it was. That's all it was about. But as you mentioned, this is your team now. How does that dynamic play out for next year? When, once he's back,
I say it's our team. It's not just my team.
Okay,
I can't do
well,
that.
it's your team now.
Yeah,
right,
now,
okay,
for
I
sure,
get that.
for sure.
I get that.
Because he's not playing, and they're putting pieces around me to make sure I ain't killing myself all year.
Yeah.
So when he comes back, obviously, the dynamic of our team changes. I won't have the ball all the time. He's going to have the ball. He's going to be able to make plays and create for us as he always does. So it's just, how can we build from here? What can we do differently than we did in the past? How can we grow from where we were a few years ago? Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7 against the Celtics. To how can we take that next step versus taking a few steps back, which is what we did. So it's just hopefully he's 110% when he comes back, like I said, and it's gonna be up to us. We gotta add some pieces in the off season, and just go get it done.
You okay? So I remember this is All-Star weekend. I brought this up to you. I was like, man, I just don't know about you and John if it's going to work long term. John said he feels like you guys' best ball is ahead of you guys. Why do you think you guys still can work or even take it to a level that hasn't been done
Maturity.
before? Okay, that's big.
Maturity.
That's big.
And honestly, that's what it is, because I wouldn't be who I am today without John, and I feel like he wouldn't be who he is today without me. And that's just how we feel. And I know my success is predicated off his, and it's kind of vice versa. Like, we work together. So, and we know that in the past, everything that was coming up wasn't coming from our mouths. It was kind of being stirred up. It was being brought up out of the blue. And so when you hear it, when you read it, it's like, well, damn, does he really feel like that?
Yeah.
And then it becomes that game versus going to him and like, yo, what's going on? So once we actually did that, then it wasn't that. It was like, okay, well, we good.
Gotcha.
Like, we hooping. Like, at the end of the day, you want to win, I want to win. That's all I care about.
And that's about, like you said, about being young.
It's about being you young and immature.
Yeah.
You're not gonna want to go talk to him. You're not gonna want to deal with that. You're gonna be like, well, F it. I'm gonna go hoop, do what I do, and leave it at that. But our maturity was, nah. We're men. Let's figure it out. How can I be better? How can you be better? How can we make this team better? Because that's what it's about. We gotta win. I'm not going nowhere, and you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
you got to make it work.
That's it.
You got to make it work.
Out, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to make it work. So that's what we did, and it's been kosher ever since.
When did it get to the point, Bill, where you guys did meet and had that talking to you?
It was early, actually. Like, it was really early. I want to say it was right when it was all the noise was coming out, like my third, fourth year. Like, right before I got my deal is when the noise was coming out. My first deal is when the noise was coming out. So I would say about my third or fourth year in the league, and then we hashed it out. Like, we sat down and talked multiple times, and we still, to this day, we do it. Like, and we're even closer and tight-knit today than we were years ago, for sure.
Nah, that's special.
For sure.
That's special. So it's interesting timing, because first of all, I thought I was going to get a text from my guy DJ last night saying, you know what, Bradley doesn't want to do this pod anymore. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because you had some, not too long ago, you had some. You had an interesting post-game remarks.
Why do you think this loss is hitting you a little bit more?
They all do. I don't like losing. I'm sorry.
Do you feel like
Especially winnable games?
It just set a tone,
Right.
and it went viral. And it just set a tone, basically showing your frustration with the losses. Can you explain what you were going through at that time?
I feel like it was just simple. Like, I was mad that we lost. Like, I never, I'm not gonna throw more, fuel onto the fire than what it needs to be. Like, we lost a very winnable game, and granted, I'm a big part of it. The team's a big part of it. It's not. I'm not. One thing I want everybody to understand is that I'm not a guy who just shifts blame on his teammates, because I've F up probably more than half of the time than what they do. So I always point at myself before I point at another man. That's first and foremost. If I ain't doing what I'm supposed to do, I'll tell myself that, and I hope my teammates will hold me accountable to that same standard in keeping me engaged in the game, making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But ultimately, man, it's just I want to win. I want to win. And whatever that looks like, whatever it takes, let's go out there and get it done. Like, granted, I knew in the offseason, our talent level wasn't going to be skyrocketed through the roof, but one thing we do have is good guys, and dudes play hard. We compete, and we compete every night, and that's all you can ask for. So, but at the same time, when you're 41 games in, you want to win games. Playing hard doesn't – you're supposed to do that.
You're supposed to do that.
You're supposed to do that. So, okay, let's start playing smarter. Let's start turning these, hard playing games that we're, close in every single game to wins.
So some people will say, well, there's a couple things to that, what you said. First of all, I know you're a calculated individual. You went in there with a purpose. I think you wanted to set some type of tone. Is that accurate?
Not really.
Or you just speaking your
Not really.
mind?
I was just speaking my mind.
Okay.
I was just speaking my mind because for me, I'll set the tone with my actions. I'll set the tone with how I play. Going out and executing and getting it done on the defensive end for one, and then doing what I do on offense. But I don't set a tone for. I don't say stuff to get you riled up.
Okay.
Like I can, but I'm not going to go to the media about it. That's what I'm not going to do.
Got you.
I'm not going to go to the media about it. Like if I want my teammates riled up, I'm gonna get us riled up.
Respect that.
No, but if you're going to ask a question about why we didn't win, and I'm gonna just answer it.
Okay.
I'm gonna be truthful about it.
I like that. There ain't too many other players like you who respond candidly, especially when
I'm blunt. I'm very blunt. I'm very blunt with. For real,
I like that,
I like to be. That's how I like to be. Like I tell my coach that. Like if you see me doing something wrong, Brooks, cuss me out.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a problem with that. Like I know a lot of guys can't take that. A lot of guys don't like it. But that's how I was brought up. That's how I was like. I enjoy being coached. I enjoy being criticized. Like, if that's how you get better, and that's the standard I hold myself to.
Okay. Well, the other part of your post game comments that sparked people saying, "Well, Brad knew he was signing up for that." You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he knew why is he frustrated? He knew he was getting himself to do that. What do you say to that?
It's funny because it's easy to say that on outside looking in. It's easy to say, yeah, you know what you signed up for. I understand that. But let's switch places and you actually play in a basketball game that you feel like you should win. Okay.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, especially like games, like granted, you got the talented teams. You got the top bracket, the top bunches. That's going to be tough. But it's weird to me, we'll smack them teams and then we won't beat this, the subpar teams.
Yeah.
And so it's just being more consistent, and it starts with me. It's just being more consistent, being more vocal, better leadership skills, and doing whatever it takes to win, man. But that's what I want to get done.
What makes Washington, D.C., and the team, what makes this so attractive? What is it appeal? What is the appeal?
I respect the fact that they drafted me. That's first and foremost. I respect that. I respect a lot of guys who, have, and this is another part of my decision making of just being in one spot for your whole career, having your jersey in a rafter one day, being that important to an organization. Those were, all things that drew me. And the city's beautiful, it's the most powerful city in the world. It's everything there. Like it's to me, it's a beautiful city. I love it, and it just fits well for me. Like it's my second home. I don't know how else to say it.
You brought good points and valid counterpoints to what other people are trying to say. So let's talk about rings versus staying with one team and potentially not ever winning the championship.
Right.
Kevin Garnett went out there and he said at one point, like, I should have left Minnesota earlier. We see what happened with him. What do you value? Like, do we place too much emphasis and value in rings? Yeah.
Yes. I think so.
We do. Okay.
I think so because I've talked to guys who've won rings and hated the team they were on.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, well, was that ring really worth it?
Gotcha.
Like, was it worth the struggle that you went through that year? Like, was it worth the agony and whatever adversity you may have dealt with? Like, was it worth it? Like, there's plenty of guys who had great careers and didn't get one. granted, everybody wants one.
Yeah.
Hell, I do. I want one. I want multiple. But, at the same time, you can't live your life, or I guess you can't basically judge your career off of that, because there's no guarantee you'll get one.
Yeah.
There's no promise you'll get one. But we do live in an age and society and a league now to where you have control over where you want to go and what you want to do. So it's kind of a little twofold.
That's true.
It's a little twofold.
I mean, that's deep. That's deep. Looking at it from that perspective, like, do you want to, if you win a ring, but you're having a miserable time in the process, opposed to fighting and playing with guys that you really
you've grown with, that you've drafted, that you've built up, in your system and molded them to who you want them to be. I think that's powerful. I think that's real powerful.
So if you go your entire career without a ring, but you have fun throughout the process, that's more worth it than a championship ring. I know it's probably hard to answer because you believe you're going to.
It's tough because I feel like I want to win. I want to win a ring.
Yeah.
And I want to make that happen. And I'm going to do whatever is in my power to make that happen. And I hope it happens in D.C., But I'll be realistic with myself and with everything. Like, we gotta turn it around.
Yeah.
We have to. Like, because I'm going into the prime of my prime years of my career, and just as well as John is. And so before you know it, we're going to be 11, 12 years in, and you're starting to look at yourself with no ring. Then that's when you see guys, okay, well, I'm going over here. I'm going over there. So it's twofold. You gotta kind of find out what works for you, what niche it is that you like. Many guys are different, but once you get to a certain point in your career, like I talked to Ray Allen about it, like he's went from when he decided to leave Seattle and go to Boston or get traded to Boston, like it was tough because he just signed an extension in Seattle.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, he gets moved. So it's to each his own, man. And he was like, if he can go back, he said he wouldn't change anything about his career. He wouldn't have left early. He said, because I ended up winning the ring, and then the next year I won one in Miami. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's different for everybody.
And I used to always talk about the extension. I talked with Damian Lillard. He signed his Supermax extension
Yes, sir.
this past summer as well. And I remember like maybe close to 2 years before that, used to talk to him about, just the possibility of that happening and that coming up, and what would he do at that time. And I would always think, I had the mindset of, I was like, you know what, if you sign that extension, that Supermax extension, you're stuck in it. Now, don't get me wrong. It's good to be stuck in.
It was a good problem to have. That's what people tell. It's a great problem to have.
Great problem to have. But I always thought, like 2 years ago, if you did that, you took that money, like you're locked in.
Yeah.
Like there's no requesting a trade.
Yeah,
or
there's none of that.
you're locked in. But then Paul George happened.
Signed and got up out of there.
He got out of it. Did his 1 year, and it was out. And there was very little backlash. Very little.
That's very true.
Very little.
That's very true.
I have to give them props for the way they execute that exit, the narrative that they
very
put.
under the table.
It was, man.
It was very quiet.
I was like, okay.
And it was funny because I was with PG an hour before he got traded.
Is that right?
I swear, we was in Vegas gambling. That man, as soon as I left him, that man got traded an hour. I said, damn, I've been sitting with you for the whole hour and you ain't say nothing. You were quiet as a mouse, man.
Was he texting? I'm pretty sure he up there texting.
Man, I wasn't paying no mind. You know what I'm saying? So I started thinking, like, damn, was he on the phone? Like, did he step away for a minute? Like,
man,
it was
just like that. And so now I'm like, okay, well, there is. I guess there is avenues. If you really want to get out.
If you want to get out, you can get out.
So, but that's another thing. Back to your post-game comments. Wizard fans, they get scared when they see you in that state. They're like, "Oh, shit. Is this the beginning? Is this Bill?"
I feel it, but no, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I'm not an emotional decision maker, and me just coming out and be like, "No, get me up out of it." That's an emotional decision.
Yeah.
Like, so fans, y'all good. We good. But but you do have players who get sick of it. You get tired of it, I do get tired of losing. I'm tired of losing.
Yeah.
I want to win. I want to know what it feels like to go in every single game knowing that the other team is kind of scared of you.
No doubt.
Knowing that the team is like, damn, man, this is going to be a tough one tonight.
Yeah.
I want to be able to have that feeling.
It's that presence.
It's
yeah.
their presence, you know. Well, I want to be able to go in L.A. and have D.C. fans everywhere versus going to D.C. and having L.A. fans everywhere. You know,
yeah.
I want that feeling.
It's gonna take.
It's gonna take some. Oh yeah, it's gonna take some minute. It's gonna take a minute. It's gonna take a minute. But you know, we got to change our culture. We got to change our winning habits. That's what we got to do.
Okay, getting to fans. That's a nice segue. Are you the
Fan voting?
The fan voting.
It's terrible.
I was about to. Oh, let me be. I want to make sure.
I'm blunt. I'm very blunt.
Okay, I'm glad you blunt.
Fan voting is it's horrendous, man.
So this is the
It's
third.
terrible.
This is the third returns, and I'm looking at the East guards.
Yep.
You are ninth.
Ninth.
I'm looking at. So number 1, Trey Young, then Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Derrick Rose, Kyle Lowry, Zach LaVine, Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons. Then it's you, and then 10th last is Fred VanVleet. So I already got your position on it. Do you think fans should have a vote? Be careful,
tough.
Brad. Be careful.
It's tough. It's tough because
Yep.
it's tough because you can't. We respect fans and we love our fans, you know. But we also know that there are a lot of people out there who don't know the game. We also know there's a lot of people who just have favorite players and don't watch everybody else. Yeah. And we all know that there's people who, you know, who they're going to vote just one guy because that's his favorite player, is you know, his favorite everything. So I don't have that.
Okay.
I know I don't have that.
Okay.
So for me, it's kind of an unfair advantage in a way, but it is what it is. You know, you got to win some damn games, and maybe you'll have some more votes.
You think
You
so?
know? So
You got Alex Caruso. You see him for the Lakers.
I mean, that's his
Fourth.
market. That's his market. That's his market. That's his market.
His market, okay.
That's his
He's
market.
fourth
That's the
in the West guards. Okay, we're going to market. Then we got
That's the market.
Taco Fall for Boston.
Boston's
Six.
That's another market. That's a market.
Market, huh?
I hear you.
You get my point, though. You
Yeah, I
get
hear
my
you.
point.
I hear you. I
You
hear
get
you.
my point.
I feel you.
Is there? Do you think that we should alter the voting process a little bit?
I
I
feel like fans should have a smaller percentage. in
smaller
votes.
percent. So right now,
Smaller
fans
percentage
have
of votes.
50, and then media and
That's a bit much.
players 20. That's too much.
That's a bit much.
Okay.
Like, because honestly, that it should be on players and coaches. We know night in and night out.
50-50 players coach.
We
I don't have no
we
problem
know
with that.
night in and night out who are all-stars, who gonna get it done, who's a bitch to guard every night.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. So media knows.
Mm-hmm.
Some media guys know. Some fans do know. I won't negate all fans, but you do have those who are just, I'm a fan of him, and that's it. So, what you think?
I would say, obviously, I don't think the NBA will ever completely
They'll never take it away.
Yeah, they're not going to take the fan vote away. But no, I agree with you. They should have a smaller weight in the process. What is that? What is that weight? I would say 50 players. I would say 50 players, 25 media, and then 25 fans. Because coaches, they do the reserves.
Yeah, coaches do
Yeah,
reserves.
so I would do that. That way, but at the same time, Brad, I forgot what vote that was for what awards, All-Star, whatever it was. But players, y'all was putting some bogus players in there as well, like voting for. Remember, Luke Babbitt had a couple votes, couple years for whatever. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, come on now, y'all wasn't taking it seriously then too. You know what I'm saying? So, but I get it. I
feel like
understand.
I feel like for All-Star votes and who's starting, especially who's starting, like there's only 10 guys. We know it's only gonna be 10 legit killers.
Yeah.
Like 10 dudes are killing this year. So in that regard, I think, I like your method. I like 50. I like 50, 25, 25.
No, I think that's fair. That keeps the
I like 50, 25.
the fan can't completely disrupt the process. If they can try, but then you guys were out, in the media, they would outweigh all of that.
Cause like I got a million followers on IG.
Uh-huh.
How many does Trey Young have?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Would you say he has way more or less?
More.
Why do you think that is?
He's a popular guy.
Trey has.
A lot of guys are.
He has 2 million.
He has me by $1 million.
He has. Okay, who's more active on social media, you or Trey?
He probably is.
Yeah, because I don't see you.
He probably is.
You know, you're not.
See, social. See, this is my thing with social. See, if I'm not doing it on social, y'all don't think I'm doing it.
Yeah, well, that's our day and age.
That's
yes.
that's our day and age. You know, if you don't see it, well, oh man, well he ain't in the gym.
Yeah, that's what Dave said too.
Right.
Yeah.
If I don't post it, it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I hate about social.
So that's what I get. So that stuff is all marketing tools and
yeah.
ploys.
Yeah.
Get helps with
Popularity
popularity.
contest.
Yeah, I get that. Instead of what you actually.
Instead of your body of work.
I never looked at it like that. I never looked at it like that. So all about so you can look at, and I was told, like, I got on Instagram about a year and a half ago. Twitter is my baby because that's what.
Yeah, those the pioneers.
Yeah, that's what I gotta get. You know, when I'm getting my reports, I'm going to Twitter. I ain't going to Instagram. And, you know what I mean? Twitter, I gotta get it out, pretty quick. And so I was told to get on Instagram to try to like show a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. And for me, it gets in the way a little bit. I do a little bit more, like when I'm out in town, I show. But I don't like doing it too because, you know what I mean? Like I didn't grow up around all this, so I don't like. I feel like I'm boasting or something. You know what I mean? But that's just me. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying and why you don't feel like you need to, but that's interesting. But I wanted to get your opinion on that fan vote, real quick. What's next? The trade deadline's coming up. Do you think something needs to be done at the deadline, or you just you think the best option is to wait?
No, I think we're gonna make a move.
Oh, you think so?
I
huh?
don't know what, but I think we're gonna make a move.
You still trying to get in these playoffs now, huh?
It's possible. That's
I know you.
that's
What 10th? You around 10th spot right now.
You ain't really lower than that.
Oh, you lower than that? You would know.
You ain't really lower than that. But it's there. It's there. We're about 4 or 5 games out of 8. Like with 41 games left, man. We can make some noise this second half, man.
I like your team, young team. I like the kid out of Gonzaga. Really think he has a future. But obviously, we know that this is kind of
to build up.
It is a build up, and it's not a complete. I wouldn't say
not
rebuild.
A complete rebuild.
Yeah,
no.
It's not that because you guys compete on any given night, but talent wise, you guys just not there, and experience wise, you guys not there.
Right.
And so, what I want to know from you is how much can you take? How much can Brad take? Because you talk about.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
that's a good question. And I honestly, I never really I don't think I've thought about it in a deep enough magnitude.
Okay.
Because it does get to a point to where, okay, how much is too much? How tired do you have to be sick of it? Like, that's a good question. You kind of stunned me on that one. I never really thought about it in that magnitude. But yeah, how much is too much?
Well, hopefully we don't have to ever.
Hopefully we don't cross that bridge.
Exactly. Because I think
that's a good question.
No, because I do respect you, and I respect Dame's position on sticking it out, being in one team, going through the thick and thin, and so for that purpose, I want to see guys like you succeed and take down the top dogs.
For sure.
Do you like the whole player movement thing or player empowerment? Do you like that movement?
I don't mind it.
Okay.
I don't mind it.
But it makes it difficult on guys like yourself who trying to do it this way.
Yeah, it does. But like it's to each his own, man. Like every man is his own man. You're gonna make a decision for you, your family, whatever your morals are and your decision process. But I do like the fact that players have a little bit more control over what they want to do and where they want to go. Like, nobody wants to get traded to a team you don't want to go to. Like, granted, when you get drafted, you ain't got control over that. Like, but eventually you want to be able to position yourself to be like, okay, well, I like this city. I like it here.
No doubt.
Like, this is where I want to be. This is where I can see my wife and my kids like being here. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot to go into it that you got to think about. So, I like it. I like it. I like the fact that we got player control, player power in the locker rooms.
Okay. Now, before I get you out of here, Brad, who are you? I know you're a basketball student. You study this game. You know it up and down. I don't know if you can say or not, but I'm gonna ask. Who are what are the who you consider? What teams would you consider to be the championship favorites this year?
Just off playing them this year?
Yeah, just off playing them. Your experience.
The Lakers are good. Lakers and Clippers, they're both very good.
Right.
But they both in the West, and the only one gonna get out.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
They're very good. Who else in the West? I'll start with the West first.
Sure. I mean, you got Denver, Houston.
Denver's good. Denver has a good team.
Yeah.
They have a really well put together team.
I had Will Barton on a couple weeks ago.
Thrill.
Yeah, Will the Thrill.
Thrill that guy.
He got mad because I didn't put him in the Denver Nuggets on my top West teams.
Yeah.
It's just two. To me, it's just two.
Them two.
It's just those two.
Just both LA.
Like, so don't stress your head. Like, don't hurt yourself.
You see me trying to overthink
you try to really think.
There's
no need to do that. You know what I mean? There's those two teams.
I feel
and then, but I'm not saying, like I told him, it's all about matchups.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Say the Lakers and Clippers meet early, then it's a matchup situation. Then you might can get Lakers, in
you might catch them.
Yeah,
in
you
the
might
finals,
catch them.
In
Injuries, things
third
that occur.
round,
Yeah,
banged up.
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. So, to me, it's those two. Then there's a second tier.
Yeah.
Who you have in the East?
See, the East is so shaky.
Shaky, huh? Okay.
Because from now to the end of the year, it could be anybody from the 1 through 5 spot.
You think
Especially
somebody
6 through 8. 6 through 8 gonna be.
for sure. Oh, for sure about
There's
that.
gonna be shuffle music from there.
For sure about
for the rest of the year. But Milwaukee's good. We haven't played them yet, but Milwaukee good.
Okay.
Boston's very good. I think Boston needs another big.
Another big. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
I think Boston needs
can
another
see
big.
Again, no need to go any further.
I feel you.
No,
I feel you. Here you go. No, but I feel like in the East is tough because I feel like a couple teams can come out of the East. In the West, it ain't.
yeah.
You kind of know who.
I feel
You kind of know where you're gonna go.
I'll give you that.
In the East,
I'll give you that. I'm down on Philly. I really wasn't a fan of the Horford move over there. I'm down on them. Milwaukee, Boston. Who else? Philly.
I didn't like that for Philly.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But you
I think
still,
Philly losing JJ kind of hurt.
Oh, it hurt a ton. Spacing and everything.
Spacing,
Leadership.
shooting.
Jimmy, Jimmy was a
leaving.
big force for him.
Miami's good.
Miami, they solid.
Miami's good.
I like them. Good story.
Miami's good.
Really good story.
Miami's good.
I think that's about it, though. So
You don't like Toronto? They all right with what they got.
Good story.
With what they got.
Good story.
With what they got.
And again, going back to what I said in the West, the right situation,
Yep.
the right matchup. They can make some noise.
Yeah.
But I think the cream of the crop are those two teams right now.
Two green teams.
And hopefully Washington can sneak up in there.
We're going to sneak. We're going to sneak attack, baby.
We go sneak, huh?
We're going to be in them trenches crawling, baby.
I'ma hope so, Brad. Will I see you in Chicago, man?
I pray you do.
All right.
Because if I ain't an AllStar, you won't see me. Hey, Chris.
So you ain't going to support, you know what I mean, some of the homeboys and nothing like that, Brad?
You look at my eyes clear.
Hey, I don't blame you, man.
I'm not going.
I don't
If I
blame
ain't
you. I
All-Star,
understand.
man.
I understand
I ain't
completely.
going, man.
Hey, there's better places to be.
Hey, I'm not about to go freeze. For
Hey,
nothing,
that's what I'm
baby.
saying. There's better places to be in February than Chicago, man.
For sure, baby.
And then you got Cleveland after that. You
Indiana,
got
Utah, something like that.
Indiana, Salt Lake City.
Woo!
Yeah, so
Just get colder and colder, baby.
I understand, Brad. Hey, you one of my guys.
it's always a pleasure.
Man, wanted to get on for a minute.
Oh, man.
Appreciate you for coming on.
Thanks for
man.
having me, Chris. I
Bradley
appreciate
Beal, All-Star for the Washington Wizards.